Thanks for coming over this Amadeus. Today's Dungeon Hunter Champion video is going to include a bunch of stuff. It's going to have a little bit of arena, it's going to have some summons, it's going to have some Elder Drake talk, and some gear talk. So, basically, what I want to do today is I want to do a couple of summons because I'm looking to get one of these Doom Heralds. Now, I would love to get some feedback down in the comments below from people that have the Doom Heralds. I personally, obviously, I don't have one or I wouldn't be summoning for it, but I do have all of these nonsensical, like, Outer Harbinger, Tutor Puffs, and Fossil Puffs, and I'm like, I gotta use these. So I feel like I have to try and summon one, and I happen to have some discs, so I figured we would just make it part of the video for today. But like I said, if you have them, you love them, you hate them, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I just did a video on the Dreadblade. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's not that bad. Could be worse, right? But these Doom Heralds, man, I don't even really, I'm not like going after a specific one. I just, whatever I get, we'll go ahead and test out. Because, it could totally be fun. It could be awesome. I guarantee you none of them are game breaking. Otherwise, it would be all over the meta. And I just have not seen that. Oh, we got some lag. This could be good. This could be good. What's this going to be? Oh, okay. Oh, Technician. That's excellent. I have this one already built. She's a mediocre water DPS champion, but what I'm excited for is I can use her to skill up my Nature Technician, who only needs a couple more skill ups before we're going to be able to really test her out and get her full kit on display. All right. We've actually skilled up both of our dark and light Crowhags at this point, so we are just waiting to build the light Crowhag because she has that self buff. I'm pretty interested to see if she can dish out some additional damage. Okay, we got 3 of these bad boys. Okay, man, we did a whole bunch of summons. Skills for my second water magic girl. We did like, I don't know, like 100 summons last week and got nothing, so I didn't post the video of it. But I did get a lot of fodder for my water magic girl, and thankfully for one of my fairies. Not nearly enough fodder for the fairies since we're building 3 of them. But lasers. Ooh. Cinnamon. You know what? She's not a bad DPS, but there's no spot for me to build her. And we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the Candy Munchkins when we talk about the Elder Drake. So let's just that's a great call. Let's just go ahead and jump into Elder Drake. So I got a lot of questions, like, let's build a pre-flight team, because I have been running Elder Drake a lot. I just got bored and I got tired of doing Steel Widow 12. Because my fairies, just from a consistency standpoint, can't deliver Steel Widow 13 sub 1 minute teams. It ends up like one of them dies or they don't dish out enough damage, and then it ends up being like 1:30, and I'm just like, that's not worth it. So I'm a little burnt out on Steel Widow, so I wanted to work on Elder Drake because I have just so many champions that need crit accuracy. And I have previously just been, utilizing precise gear on those champions, but I was talking to Scryo, and Scryo was like, oh man, I want to get some more King gear. Because there's just so many champions that need crit rate. They're a little bit more flexible, because while I have niche champions personally that need both accuracy and crit rate, I have just as many champions that just need pure crit rate. And I was like, oh, you know what? That's a good point. Like, I have not gone to Elder Drake in a long time. That was one thing me and Sammy talked about, because he had not gone into Elder Drake since Christmas, since the event. So I was like, well, man, I'm gonna jump into Elder Drake. I'm gonna run it out. So here's my this is actually my ED11 team, and I also use it for ED12. The only reason I don't farm ED12 all of the time is because if this team messes up and it doesn't pre-flight, it fails. Now, in any level prior to that, if it doesn't pre-flight, it still wins, right? Still gets through. And the whole key with this is the same thing we've talked about many times in the past, which is we need to do some upfront damage, but like a lot of upfront damage, just about half, right? We need to do about half that damage just in the amount of time it takes for the 2 siege towers to drop their OGD, right? So we don't want to come in and kill this super fast, which is why you don't see Rhoda on this team. I do not, as you can see, like, we want to do a lot of damage, but we don't want to do it so fast that it flies off before we get those OGD stacks on it. And this is by far 99% of the time this pre-flights. The only like the siege towers are not skilled up. Everybody else is fully skilled up. And man, I think they're all on precise. Like, or not precise, but adept. I think every champion on this team is on adept, and we can actually just take a look at that real quick, because I also want to talk about the Candy Munchkins too, and I need to see that they are geared. Yeah, so my make this a little bit easier. My Rona is geared on adept precise, kind of makes sense. Adept broken for my sniper. I've done a whole video series on all of these champions, so if you want to see what the actual builds are, step by step, in depth, skill, all that stuff, you can go back and look at one of those videos. Just search the channel and it'll pop up whichever champion you're looking for. And then we have, where are you, Kendrick? And then we have Kendrick. Pretty happy with Kendrick. I finally got him fully skilled up with that summoning session we had the other day. So very happy he's finally fully skilled up, and I know, and he just works like a charm, man. But he's on adept precise, and it's attack, crit damage attack. That's what all of these champions are built on. Until you get to these sweet siege engines, the siege engines are going to be built on adept precise. Both of them actually are built on adept precise. And then you're going to see it's just attack, HP attack, with a ton of attack in the substats. Like I said, if you really want like a slow, in-depth walkthrough, I've done videos on all of these champs individually, so you can see those. And I'm sure most of you have, so I don't want to bore y'all with that. But once again, this is HP attack, and then they just have a ton of attack substats. Ooh, this could actually be better. Let's look at this real quick. Do I have a better attack percent chest piece? May not. That may be why it's sitting there. Oh, bummer, man. I may not. That's a pretty poor chest piece, to be honest with you. I mean, it's only got plus 13 attack, but it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, when I was talking to Scryo, he was like, hey, can we put together like a starter team or a consistent farmer team? So this is my most consistent farming team. And I know that it has like 3 nat 5s on it. So it's probably not the go-to team for most players out there. So let's just talk a little bit. So I use Lemon Drop and Peppermint. Oh, great. They're both geared. I use both of them. They're both built Mortal Broken. I'd like to get them on Mortal Keen. But they're built very heavy attack crit damage because they naturally buff their own crit rate. And we've talked about that in the past. But I'll tell you what, man, I do love these guys. But the only spot I really have them for anymore is for Elder Drake pre-flight teams. And from a consistency standpoint, they don't even deliver the best consistency. What I find is that if you want to go pre-flight, sure, they could probably do 11. They could probably do 10. Or I know they can do 10. They could probably do 11 pre-flight. But what ends up happening is that I end up in a situation where I am fighting to make sure that they don't over DPS, right? So everything else pretty much would stay exactly the same on this team, except, like I said, I want to make it a little bit more free to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop Lemon Drop and Peppermint. Now, Lemon Drop could be replaced with another Peppermint. And, early, mid, or really kind of mid-game, if you're really dedicating yourself to Elder Drake, that makes sense. I can't bring myself to do double Peppermints because I just don't use them enough. And once you get these other champions, you'll realize, like, oh, I don't see a venue where that's really successful for me. So I just can't bring myself to do it, especially since I don't use them as much as I used to. Now, what I will say is that they are great punchy champions. Like, they're really squishy, but great punchy. Now, you saw we pulled that Cinnamon earlier. She has similar powers, except she doesn't have the self buff, right? She doesn't have that self crit buff. And I'll be honest, that is the number one downfall of Cinnamon. We did a video where we talked about buff boxer build, and Cinnamon, like, I was like, I build her, I like enjoy her. It's just you have to have a higher requirement for her crit rate, so she doesn't work as well early on until you get access to some of that sweet primo gear. Now, here's where the struggle falls in, because you want to be able to get through the waves fast enough that your peppermints don't use their ultimate skill, which is Bonbon Barrage. Let's this one right here, Bonbon Barrage. You don't want them to use that right before they go into the Elder Drake. You want them to have that up. So it's always tough to figure out who you want to have on your team. So you might have to tweak that a little bit, because you got to have enough DPS to clear out the waves, but not so much DPS that you knock the Elder Drake down by half before the Bonbon Barrages are going to be up. So we'll try Rhoda, because my Rhoda is actually on a, as you can see, she's on an attack speed defense attack build with substats and crit rate, and I don't think she's in attack speed. I don't think she's going to do enough damage to hurt us, but I'm not sure. And I'm almost loath to put her crit or her leader skill on, because man, I really am. I don't want to because she'll lower the skill cooldown time with her leader skill, right? So Peppermint will get her ultimate skill up faster, and then she also has a skill which raises attack speed, and that also gives you skill cooldown, and then that lowers Peppermint's again, and then it also lowers Lemon Drops. So they could very quickly get out of sync. So I'll be honest, I'm a little worried about that. But let's try it out. Let's see what happens. We'll be able to see, if that's what happens if they get out of sync. But Scryo, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is the testing I was going through when I was looking at teams, trying to figure out one before I completely stumbled upon that double Siege Tower team. That wasn't my intention. I was just wasting energy, per usual, trying to figure out something cool. So, okay, let's actually pop over to one of the Peppermints to demonstrate something we've talked about previously, which is if you focus on one of your champions in their Night Cheerleader, it changes their AI behavior, right? So immediately you see that she went to the center. She's doing Bonbon Barrage. What about Lemon Drop? Lemon Drop does it too! Sweet! Woohoo! No speed tuning necessary, team. Community, how awesome is it when stuff just works out the way it's supposed to? Oh, and you know what? This is not bad at all. I would keep this just to see if it double rolled into crit rate, because it's a rapid piece, and I am really hurting for some rapid pieces. But I think that I'm still going to end up selling it, because that second stat, if it just went into HP, it's not enough to do exactly what I want it to do. Now, like I said, let's kind of walk through the pre-flight teams. Like, if you got the Nat 5s, use the Nat 5s as much as possible. If you don't, that Peppermint team, is pretty free to play, pretty standard. You just got to work that timing out to make sure you just don't do too much damage. Now, one thing I did want to talk about, you know what? Let's actually take a moment. What is going on with Arena? Where are my gems, people? Where are my gems? And why does my rank keep changing if Arena's not up? I don't know. These are questions I need to know. I actually wanted to walk through, and I wanted to demonstrate the double fairy in Arena, but that's not going to be an opportunity. Because no matter how cool those fairies are, just taking them up against challengers is probably not going to be too much fun. But as always, thanks for watching the videos. Hopefully we can get another one about Arena out, maybe even today. Alrighty, thanks again. Bye.